Campus Belle flew off her bicycle over 5 meters high on the first day of school. Due to brake failure, her terrified cries attracted the attention of a young man. Seeing this, he immediately rushed over and safely caught the bell before she fell. But to her surprise, the boy who had saved her was her childhood friend, Joe. Long time no see. Silly Linda. As soon as they met, they started bickering. They dislike each other, yet cannot exist without the other. The first thing they do every morning is open the window and look at each other. But after decades of being together, how could they not know each other's hearts? Because of the accident that day, Linda's bicycle broke down. Joe deliberately did not fix Linda's bike so that he could take her to school. When Joe saw Linda, he pretended to be cold and said, "Get on the bike." Seeing that Joe's hand was injured from saving her, Linda brought Joe along. But sitting on the bike, Joe was at a loss. Seeing his hands with nowhere to rest, Linda smiled knowingly and pressed the brakes firmly. When Joe's bike chain fell off halfway, seeing the broken bicycle, Linda started blaming Joe. But Joe bent down to tie her shoelaces for her. "What are you doing? Let's start running. We're going to be late." The two of them prepared to climb over the wall into the school. As soon as Linda climbed up the wall, she noticed a handsome, rebellious-looking guy. The attractive face of the guy deeply captivated Linda. Before she could snap out of it, Joe pushed the guy down. "Are you okay?" Facing the guy's sudden warm greeting towards Linda, Joe's eyes were filled with jealousy. But what he never expected was that the guy was Ben, a new transfer student in his own class, and it seems that Ben was also attracted to Linda. Seeing Ben's gaze towards Linda, Joe felt very unhappy. To prove his relationship with Linda, he kept showing off in front of Ben. Even on the way home from school, Joe had to wait until he could leave with Linda. On the way home on the bus, Linda often fell asleep due to the fatigue of her senior year studies. The stubborn Joe would complain, but his eyes were filled with concern. Since it was the last semester of senior year, the teacher asked the students to write down their final goals. His classmates wrote down getting a girlfriend, but Joe thought it was vulgar, yet he couldn't bring himself to write anything down. When his friends saw this, he snatched the paper and wrote "Finish your first kiss" for him. Soon, Joe was called to the teacher's office. The teacher's words left Joe stunned. You haven't done anything at all? At your age, what have you been doing?" The teacher even encouraged Joe, telling him to seize this opportunity and set a clear goal. When Joe got home, he was anxious about this. Just as he was about to write down who he wanted to kiss, Linda unexpectedly showed up at his house. The reason she came was that she hadn't had enough to eat. "Joe, do you have any leftovers?" Seeing Linda in this state, Joe found it both annoying and amusing. How could I have any thoughts about her? After they finished eating, they watched a movie together. When the on-screen couple shared a final kiss, Joe felt embarrassed. At that moment, Linda said to Joe, "I don't like the ending where they just kiss." Hearing Linda say that kissing wasn't good, Joe quickly argued, "What's wrong with that?" Linda replied, "I think a deep embrace would be better at the end. That would be more warm." As if the story is still continuing. Hearing Linda's words, Joe angrily told her to leave. "You go, I'm going to sleep."